What's up, fish heads? Welcome back to Waterbox Live. I remember to say fish heads.
Yes, you did. Great.
It was like at least 3 weeks I did not. I think Germany threw me off a little bit.
Put you out of routine, for sure.
Yes. Welcome, everybody. We appreciate y'all coming back. And make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell as well because we're live every week.
And we are giving away two $50 Waterbox gift cards today. So you definitely want to stay tuned. And part of the currency is, of course, liking the stream and being active in the chat. So, you know, definitely ask questions because we're going to have questions put throughout the whole stream and a little bit of time designated just for Q&A. But being active and engaged in the chat is one of the currency to win a gift card. So do it.
You might wonder why that is because we don't know you're there unless you're talking to us. So let us know. Let us know.
Guys back there are picking based upon asking questions, being active, all of that. So just start talking to each other.
Tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're having for dinner. Let us know what you're drinking.
Any things about yourself?
Yes, and but most importantly, guys, we are live here because we like to do a Q&A at the end of the stream. So post your questions below. It could be about a freshwater aquarium, like we're talking about today. It could be about a saltwater aquarium. It could be about Waterbox, anything. Just put it in the comments. We'll try to get it to as many as we can.
Yep, that's part of the joy of actually joining us live is actually being able to answer those questions that you have dropped in there. And we do try to get as many as possible when we go through there. But today we're talking about the Waterbox method.
Yes.
Now we have talked about this before in past streams, kind of always more geared towards the reef side of things. But the Waterbox method is our guide basically to water levels and maintenance for aquariums. It's what we do here. It's the guidelines that we follow. It's what we've kind of done after 20 plus years in the hobby and having aquariums that we have found to be basically the simple and effective way to do things. And that's really our goal is like anyone that starts into the hobby or has been into it a while, it's easy to follow. It's simple, but it gives you a beautiful aquarium. Freshwater or saltwater, doesn't matter. So that is basically what the Waterbox method entitles. But we're going to talk about basically the freshwater version of the Waterbox method today because we haven't talked about that very often.
I do want to mention something really quickly before we jump into the slides real quick. And I always say this, I say find somebody that has successful aquariums and you can follow exactly what they do. They model what they do to have success in your own aquarium. And that's what we're trying to create with the Waterbox method. So you can follow along with our Waterbox method, and we do it with freshwater and saltwater tanks in here on all of them, and find that same success.
Let our learning curve over the last 20 years help guide you towards a simple, almost foolproof, I won't say everything's foolproof, but a very foolproof way to maintain freshwater or saltwater aquariums that doesn't overcomplicate it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the freshwater Waterbox method. Okay, so what we do is Waterbox method is basically your routine for maintenance that's going to lead you towards keeping everything very easy to care for, not getting behind on stuff. Daily is always visual inspection of everything. Even if you're just passing by, stop for a few minutes and take a close look at everything. Even on your busiest days, this is a very easy thing to do. Check the health of your fish. Check how your plants are doing, if anything's knocked over, if everything looks like it should. You know, if you're running CO2, that it's running correctly, like just quick visual checks that everything is the way it should be. Because if you don't check in daily and say a fish is sick or like your CO2 is not running or something's going on, if you don't notice for a couple days, it's going to be a lot more detrimental than if you notice per day.
Yeah, and that's part of the joys of owning an aquarium, right? Is actually sitting there, pull up a
chair. Hopefully you do have time each day to enjoy your aquarium.
Pull up a chair and enjoy your Waterbox because that's the best part about it. And while you're doing that, you can, visually inspect.
But even if you've got a hectic, crazy day, stop for a minute or two, check everything out, do that. Daily is also good for dosing elements or like your Carbon Plus, which is kind of like a regular dosing thing. Dose that daily as well. Then you got 2 times a week, and this is always a guideline. If you're going through an algae phase, it may be a little bit more frequent, but twice a week, take a magnet to your glass, get it all cleaned up. Highly recommend the Waterbox magnet, very effective and strong. And this is gonna keep your tank always looking beautiful. When you look at it, you don't wanna see those big patches of algae because it's gonna make it not look nice.
Yeah, and if you're like me, do it 7 times a week, okay?
That's true. Clear glass is always better for viewing your aquarium. So if you need to do it more than twice a week, go ahead. I think that's probably more of an issue in saltwater tanks where you get blooms,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
freshwater you're probably good with twice a week.
7.
On your weekly routine, so this does vary a bit on what kind of aquarium you keep, but as a general guideline, if you have a high-tech Planet aquarium, you know, a 30 to 50% water change once a week is pretty ideal. Now, if you're just setting up this aquarium, your water changes in the beginning are going to be a lot more frequent. So then, you know, usually your first month or so, 2 to 3 times a week for your brand new high-tech setups. That a little bit of extra effort is going to go a long way with keeping everything adjusting well, algae blooms down, and everything settling in nicely. Unfortunately, freshwater water changes are pretty fast and easy, so you do want to kind of stick to that routine for best results. Every 2 weeks, now if you're running a low-tech or fish-only kind of setup, you know, every 2 weeks is usually pretty good for your water change, and that's going to be, you know, 30 to 50% water change. You know, this is also a great time on any of your systems. Test your water, make sure everything's looking the way it should, and then to also, you know, get a look at your plants, trim them as needed. For your monthly, usually about once a month is a good time to change carbon media. Also phosphate media, but that's going to be more dependent on what your levels read, necessarily not blindly changing it. And it will depend on what kind of system you keep, if you even really need to change it much at all or run it. Also cleaning your canister filter or any of your filtration. If you have hang on the back, if you've got internal, whatever your type might be, you know, once a month is a good routine to get that all cleaned out. And then if you've got like lily pipes or CO2 diffusers or any kind of input output from your filtration, great time to take that off, give it a good clean, because they do get buildup on their intakes and stuff, and it does start to kind of slow down the flow of water. So once a month, time it with a water change is a great time to do it all, and just try and aim for about once a month on those things.
I do want to mention, guys, there's a lot of people that have joined us since we just started the stream. Post your questions below. We are giving away 2 $50 gift cards this episode, so we want to hear from you. That's why we're here live. So if you got any questions about whether it's your freshwater tank, it could even be a saltwater. Yeah. Preferably freshwater for this episode, but it's all good if it isn't. Definitely post your questions in the comments. That's going to be one of the currencies for you guys to win those gift cards.
Yeah, the guys back there are pulling comments and questions and stuff as we go, so just put them in there whenever, and they're going to get through as many as we can when we have a chance. Like right now, we'll start it.
Amber Fox is asking, what is high-tech?
So high-tech is, yeah, it is a good question. High-tech usually is considered higher intensity lighting and also running a CO2 system. This is going to allow you to keep all varieties of plants and also increase your growth and everything. So basically the difference between high-tech and low-tech. Low-tech, you're going to usually keep, you've got to
I'll let you know when you're back. Says we got a connection, but it's not buffering. It's buffering. Oh, there we go. There we go. See if you're back.
Hello, can you hear us? Let us know. Our system shut down. We're back. Let us know if you can hear us and see us. Yeah,
okay,
we're
good?
good?
Yeah, we're back. Sorry, guys. Our hardware decided to reset on us, so we are back. And we got we got a few more things to cover on the Waterbox method, so let's pull that up.
Where did we stop? Were we good?
I think you were still answering the what is a high tech.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's
yeah.
restart. What is a high tech? Let's go back to that and redo.
Yeah, I think it was Amber had a question that was, what does a high tech mean?
All right, thank you guys for sticking around during that. Okay, dope.
Hold on. Okay.
All right, so what is a high tech? High tech is going to be whenever you see those really densely planted aquariums, you have a lot of pinks and reds, possibly even yellows, a lot more variety of plants. Is generally that's going to be a high tech setup because those plants need a lot more, say, CO2 and light and stuff to thrive, keep their color, and grow. So that's gonna be high tech. High tech and low tech is basically like low tech, light design for plants, but you're not really dosing anything else, maybe a carbon source and some elements, but you're gonna keep stuff like swords and Anubias and Sagittarius and things that are a little bit easier. And with a high tech, you're going to be able to keep everything, but you have to have a CO2 system, ideally a monitor. You know, you have to make sure that your lighting's intense enough. So equipment amount is going to be a big difference, but you're going to get a whole lot more out of a high tech as far as variety, but you're also going to get more maintenance. So there's that.
Yep. And again, I do want to mention, you guys, we are giving away two $50 gift cards. So if you got questions, post them below. We appreciate you all sticking around while we had those technical difficulties.
Yes.
I thought this was fun.
I always walk by, they lie and act like they're starving. Yes, they will do that.
Yeah, no, I think fish, I mean, they don't really have much going on in their life, so I think it really is begging you for food and pretending that they've never eaten. I always tell people, especially if you're like starting your first aquarium, don't fall for it. I've had so many people over my years come into when I was running stores, you know, oh, what's going on with my water? Tank's crashing, values aren't good. I'm like, well, how much do you feed? They're like, well, they're always hungry. So like I feed them 3 times a day for 10 minutes and they keep eating. Food in, waste out, water quality bad. So, you know, always don't fall for their lies.
Yeah. Trickery.
Yes.
Go back to the slides.
Okay. Last step on here for our Waterbox method is kind of that detail maintenance. And roughly 3 to 4 months is a good time to do this, is clean your impellers. It doesn't matter if you've got internal canisters, externals, hang on the back, what kind of filtration you have. There's an impeller in there, and where the impeller spins is going to have buildup. And that buildup over time slows down your impeller, it slows down your filtration speed and your gallons per hour. So after a few months, if you don't clean that out, it's going to continue to decrease, and you're going to notice my aquarium's getting dirtier. There's more suspended stuff in the water column because it's not flowing as much, and you need that turnover. So getting down and dirty with your filter and just cleaning it out is going to benefit. And you turn that back on, you're like, wow, it really had decreased so much. If you want to do it more frequently, go for it. There's no harm in that. Just know that it is going to build up and it needs that extra attention every couple months.
Excellent.
Boom. There you go.
Just like that.
Oh, this had just made the fish life sound so depressing. I'm sorry, you know, like, I feel like they just have food and feeding time for the most part. All right. Also, what I mentioned, and we mentioned it last week, it's going on still, is we have a freshwater entry contest going on.
Yes.
So we do want, there's only 2 days left on this, and you want to get entered. If you have a freshwater water box, definitely please put your submission in there. This is giving you a chance to be featured on special events. Your photo used whenever we're talking about freshwater. Like, it's got, you know, a lot of great stuff, and you also have a chance to win a gift card and an aquascaping toolkit.
I think it's a $250 gift card, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So $250 gift card and aquascaping toolkit, plus a chance to be featured in one of our owner highlights. So if you got a Waterbox freshwater tank, definitely submit it. You can get to it by going to waterboxaquariums.com/photo, or right here on the home page as well. So
yeah, so get entered in there. There's only 2 days. This closes on June 1st. Submit. We want to see your beautiful freshwater water box. So get it on there if you haven't seen this yet. Make sure you do that in the next 2 days. So we're just talking about cleaning your filter, but and we go through this sometimes, is there is a specific way you should clean your filtration when you do it to not completely crash your aquarium. Which I think is important for people that maybe have never had a canister or a freshwater aquarium or anything, is preserving that bacteria. So we do have a quick video just showing the proper way, or our way, to clean out your filtration. And this will go for all filtration, basically canisters, internals, or hang on the back. It has the same theory to it. All right, so we use the CHA canister filters on our aquariums. They're super easy to maintain. So they have the locking part to remove so you don't drain any water from your pipes. And I'm just taking the lid off so I don't have to lug a cord across anywhere. And we're taking the canister over to the sink. So when you are cleaning out any of your filtration, you do not want to use straight tap water. You want to use a conditioner like the Waterbox conditioner to remove chlorines and heavy metals, because that chlorine is going to kill all that good bacteria that you've established during your cycle. So here it is. This is our 3-stage CJ canister, dumping all the funky water out. Got a lot of buildup and little pieces in it that accumulate. And we're just going to clean layer by layer in the dechlorinated water, because on every little sponge, all of those things, good beneficial bacteria builds up. If you go and rinse this under tap water, you're going to kill a certain percentage of that bacteria, which is going to mean your cycle and all your bacteria is not as strong. So usually I say do this when you're doing a water change. Save a bucket or two of your old water. If you're not doing it during a water change, just fill a bucket, dechlorinate it, and you can use it there. So you've got multiple layers of sponges. We have our bag of carbon media in here. And we're just cleaning everything. It doesn't have to be spotless. You just want to get the main amount of buildup or gunk out of it, and then put the canister back together, because you don't also want to leave these sponges and biomedia out into the air for a long period of time either, because that will kill off some of your bacteria. So we're just going for a quick rinse.
I think that's a really good tip too, because like a lot of people wouldn't think about that. They're just going to go straight over to the sink and start rinsing everything out.
Exactly.
And while you might not kill it all, you could potentially kill a significant amount that might affect your tank.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not going to kill all your bacteria, but it's going to kill some. And really, when you want to keep your tank established and healthy, you don't want to lose your bacteria if you don't need to. So that very top layer, removing that completely, cleaning off your ceramic biomedia. There's all the funk from your filter.
That's pretty crazy.
And then just putting a layer, and you can use replacement pads, you can use filter floss, really whatever. We're just using a piece of filter floss and putting it onto that top canister on here. And from there, you're good. It's about 5-10 minutes tops, maybe, to get your whole canister out and clean. Would be the same for all your types. But the main thing is, just don't throw it under tap water. It's going to be the number one thing that's going to harm your bacteria. And an established aquarium with a high fish load, the last thing we ever want to do is to kill off any of that nitrogen cycle that we've established. And work hard to establish to keep your aquarium stable.
Now, what is the timeline on that again? How often do you want to clean the canister? Just so
At least once a month.
Once a month?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, if you've got like a bit of an algae bloom or any other issue, you can definitely do it more frequently. There's no harm, but at minimum once a month. So I'm putting the basket back in here and filling it back with dechlorinated tap water. You don't want to use the old water that was in the canister because it's dirty, but dechlorinate it and fill back up in order to install it.
That's another
back
important
on the
thing
aquarium.
too, is filling the canister, right?
Yeah. If you don't fill it, it's not going to prime itself. So
Yeah.
you do have to fill it up to the fill line. I'm sure every brand is a little bit different, but by doing that, we could just slide it back in place, put the lid on, and you hook back up your inlet and outlet to it, and it stays primed that way. So you don't really have to do anything further but plug it in at that point.
So once a month, and if you guys haven't seen, we have a new Waterbox conditioner for fresh water, which you can use for that exact task.
Yeah.
So
that takes care of your
pretty cool.
chlorines and heavy metals, which you definitely make sure topping off water changes or cleaning filtration, you want to dechlorinate that water. It's very, very important.
excellent.
Yeah.
And again, I do want to mention, I want to encourage you guys to post your questions below, engage in the comments, make friends, all that good stuff, because that's the currency to win 2 $50 gift cards that we're giving away today.
Yeah.
And next we're talking about trimming.
Yes. Do any questions in between, or are we going?
Sure. Did I already put this one up? I didn't put the question up. See,
Nope.
No.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on brown water freshwater aquariums? I think that's what they are called. Basically, all natural freshwater aquarium aquascaping is the filtration, no hang-ons. Maybe black water is what he's saying?
Probably backwater. I mean, that is basically promoting the tannins.
Yeah.
Now, to a brown water, same with no filtration. I don't think any closed environment should be a no filtration. Now, okay, in technicality, if you had enough plants and a low enough amount of fish, could it work? Absolutely. I wouldn't recommend it. We're not the wild, you know, we're not a lake. There's so much more to that actual ecosystem than our glass box can give.
Yeah.
And that's why we have filtration. You can definitely do that blackwater like tannin type look where it looks very natural, but you still have the filtration. You just wouldn't run the carbon, or if you did, it'd be very infrequent. And then you basically would put the tannins and stuff back in if you had to run it. But I don't think really any situation, I know people do it with betas and stuff, I don't think any situation or form of life in the aquatic world should not have filtration.
Yeah. It's definitely, I think, a necessity with any aquarium, just for, you know, water quality in general.
Yeah.
Paul's asking, is citric acid better/faster than vinegar for calcium buildup?
Oh, it's definitely faster, but it's a lot more caustic and a little bit more dangerous to deal with. So like vinegar is a very mild way to get all that buildup off without having that, okay, I don't want to breathe this too much or handle it. Citric acid is aggressive, but it will definitely clean everything really well. Another one is, I know CJ has like a pump clean type of product that's meant for cleaning buildup off of pumps too.
Can't remember the exact name of it.
I think it's pump clean.
Is it?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, okay. Jess, what can I keep with Congo puffers?
Not much with puffers. Puffers have teeth and they like to use them generally on flowy, nice things. So most fish are going to be a good target for them to nip at the fins or get aggressive with in general. You could probably look into, depending on the size of the aquarium, look into their actual natural ecosystem and where they're from and like where they are from, what other fish or animal species live in that ecosystem. And that would be the best way to replicate it. But I would still say in such a closed environment, it's not going to work the same as out in the wild.
Yeah.
But puffers in general in the freshwater world, don't go with too much else.
Everything tests perfect. My tank is still cloudy.
So that one, I'm gonna guess saltwater, but it depends. So it depends on what you have going on and a lot more details. But if it is a white kind of cloudy, that's a bacterial bloom. It means your bacteria is still building up for your aquarium. While your levels may test perfect, it's doing its job, but it's still trying to reach the optimal levels. If it's a cloudy because of like particulates and stuff in the water, is you need to look at your circulation, your flow pattern, bioload, you know, feeding regimen, that kind of stuff, because for a lot of particulates to be in the water and cause it to look cloudy in that way means something's not right filtration or maintenance wise.
She says she has the Eden 80.
Okay.
So
Well,
freshwater?
It might be freshwater.
Might be freshwater.
More than likely.
So more details, like it's so open to the possibilities. But yeah, look at either particulate or cloudy, like milky cloudy.
Okay, one more and then we'll go back to the...
Okay.
My freshwater tank is full of fancy goldfish. It's a plain tank.
Oh, fancy goldfish are so cute. I love goldfish. I do. They are dirty though.
Yeah.
They get big and they produce so much ammonia, but I think they're absolutely beautiful. Don't be sad about it.
Yeah. You got a water box, right?
All right, so we're gonna do some more Q&A a little bit, but one of the things we talked about was trimming your plants. And this is gonna be a big deal when you're looking to go into high tech. So this is something to kind of keep in mind is the maintenance and basically pruning, if you do gardening, you'll understand, of the plants in your high tech is going to be a high demand because you have to do it because the growth rate and stuff like that you're going to get by having that CO2 is going to cause you to need to do the special trimming. So we have a quick video just kind of talk about some of your trimming methods, but keep this in mind if you're looking to go high tech. So this one here, what? Where are we? All right, so this is our clear, as you guys seen before. It was definitely due for a trimming. So when getting into this here, we are looking to create the plants to be at the heights we want, but also to keep their bushy, dense appearance. So the first thing we're going after is this Monte Carlo carpet. Very tall. It's like trimming grass by hand. It's slightly tedious. We're using our curved tools here. You can actually find those online. And pretty much just shearing across. So what you want to do when you have carpeting type plants is by keeping them shorter, they're going to put a lot of effort into their root growth, but you're going to also kind of have them densely fill out. So it keeps that very dense carpet grass-like appearance, and it will make a mess. As you'll see, there's pounds of Monte Carlo at the top of this aquarium. I shut down the filtration when I do this so that you can easily net it out and it's not being kicked around even more. Get the bulk of it out before you turn your filter back on. But you're going to have to regularly do that to any of your carpeting type plants to keep them nice and short. When it comes to trimming your stem plants, in order to keep their height and from getting spindly, you're going to have to trim them down. Now, ideally, you're going to trim them down a little bit shorter when you first plant, and they're going to grow dense. But what you want to do is actually trim right above where there's a 2 set of leaves. So what you're doing is when you trim right above those 2 leaves, 2 more leaf sets are going to produce right there. Now you want to do this generally pretty short on there to keep that really dense look. So cut above the 2 leaves, and then you're going to have 2 more leaf sets grow. And each of those is going to have 2 leaves. As they get a little bit taller, you're then going to cut again above those. Now you have basically 6, 8 plus leaves in that same amount of area, and it's going to give you that really, really dense bush-like appearance from the top. And it's going to allow you to kind of keep it dense and short by cutting between those leaf sets as you go. Now, if you're doing something like swords and stuff, you're just basically trimming leaves as they get older because it's doing its own out of the middle. So it is very different on the type of plants that you do. But you want to not let them get tall enough that their bottom stalk is so spindly that it loses its leaves. Because then you don't have that like super lush look that you are trying to get for on that high-tech aquarium. So trim between the 2 leaf sets as low as you can, let those grow. It does take time to get that desired appearance that you're looking for with the high-tech though.
I'm just going to take it all in because I'm not a freshwater guy by trade. So it's all really good information.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to help Dr. Catherine.
Oh no.
She's like, it's still cloudy. Should she put a UV on it if it's a freshwater?
It depends on why it's cloudy. Generally, cloudiness can be solved. We just have to know why. I mean, a UV will help, but also why? I don't know. I mean, I don't like Band-Aid type fixes, but like figuring out why, what is not running optimally that's allowing it to be cloudy is usually my main goal versus throwing equipment at it. I don't know what to do for Dr. Catherine.
So again, you guys, you ready for some more questions?
Sure, whenever you...
Okay.
Yeah, we're ready. Does a shrimp tank need supplements added? It has zebra dinos and ram short sails too.
I mean, the reason they usually don't add any supplements is going to be if you have plants. Now, if you're running some plants in there, even if it's just a few here and there, I would highly suggest the Carbon Plus because that's going to add that carbon source, kind of similar to like a CO2 system. That's going to allow those plants to just be able to grow better. They're going to grow faster, thicker. They're going to have better color and stuff. So even in like a very simple system, that Carbon Plus is going to be beneficial, but I wouldn't go into like trace elements and any of that stuff if you've got like a basic planted aquarium.
I have well water. Does this require conditioner? I've read mixed reviews.
So well water generally would not have chlorine in it, but it will probably have heavy metals. But without having your water tested and taken in for a report, it doesn't hurt to add conditioner.
Yeah.
There's no harm to it, so I would always err on the side of caution. Add that conditioner. It's going to cost you pennies each time, and it's going to possibly keep you from having any possible heavy metals or if chlorine somehow was in there. And it also has, like ours does, has like a slime coat conditioner for the
Yeah.
fish. So it's beneficial in that way too.
Doesn't hurt.
No.
I'm getting a 170-gallon freshwater Waterbox aquarium. What canister
Yeah.
filter can you recommend?
I mean, we use the CJ, so on 170, you would have to run at least 2 of the Eco 300s or the Whale largest size ones. And just see, it really depends on your bio load, but there's not many standalone canister filters that are rated for
Right,
that high. So you might have to run a couple.
Thank you, Justin. What is best to get rid of the black hair algae? I have 2 Chinese algae eaters and 12 Corydoras.
Blackbeard algae is, go get some Amano shrimp. They are your friend. They are, I mean, first, they're not expensive compared to like cherry shrimp and stuff, but get a whole herd of them and they will do a great job. But I would go ahead and like clean some of it off. If there's plants that are just absolutely covered, consider the plant a loss. It's not worth that $7-10 for the plant to keep that algae in there and let it keep spreading. So if you've got some problematic ones, take it out, or even rocks, swap them out. Get the Amano shrimp in there and let them do their job. But the less they have to tackle, the better they're going to do at it at a faster rate.
How often should activated carbon be replaced, and how beneficial is it really?
Everyone, this is a debatable topic by many.
What's your opinion?
I say once a month, because I think it is good to always have in there, because in a freshwater world, let's say just on freshwater, is contaminants in your air and contaminants that could get into the water from your hands or just whatever could happen. The carbon's going to be there to help absorb that out. Lotions, sprays, chemicals, whatever it could be, it's going to be there to absorb it. It's also going to help just for discoloration. It's going to keep your water really clear, which is going to help light penetration, like all those things. In salt water, it helps coral toxins. Same thing, all the different things that could come in through the air or your hands or whatever else. It's going to help absorb that and pull it out of the water and make it less of an issue. So I don't see any harm ever in adding carbon to your regimen.
Thank you, Matthew.
We got one more after this.
I just set up my 4820. How many fish can I add at one time, or can I add them all at once? What do you recommend?
Oh, I need to know more. It depends so much on the setup. Is it freshwater, saltwater? Are you moving over any established bacteria, live rock, filter, anything from an old system that would bring some bacteria over? What size are the fish? What do you have plants? I can't answer it without that information.
Fine.
Keen's like, fine.
I'm just laughing. Somebody's like, I like shrimp on my plate.
Shrimp are good. I
shrimp are
love fish and
tasty.
seafood.
I don't think you want the freshwater shrimp, though.
No, they're nothing. Nothing.
My water leaves stains of mineral buildup. Is it bad for the fish? How should I remove the stains or prevent them?
No, I mean, okay, we're in Florida. We have the same problem. Our water is so hard here. It will leave residue on everything. Like I use distilled water on all my geckos because I don't like the hard water stains. RODI. Like, you know, if it's that bad, use RODI. You can buffer it and put the minerals and stuff back into it. Otherwise, just take that scraper blade to that water line, because that's where it's going to build up the most, especially in the freshwater, is you're going to have that hard water line. And you're going to have to take a scraper blade to it, a very sharp one, regularly. But of course, that also has risks to it for scratching your glass and stuff. So depending on the setup, I would highly suggest looking at RODI. It takes all of that out of it. And then remineralize and buffer up to what you need if it's that big of a deal.
All right, all right.
All right. We have some gift cards to give away, don't we?
Ready
Yay!
to give some stuff away?
Oh, not yet. Got this one.
Who's
Oh, that's
ready
my
to-
girl. Someone's asking about leopard geckos. See, they're talking about reptiles in here. Can't answer that stuff.
Go whenever you are.
All right. Waterbox gift card winners.
Winner is Sean Hendricks and Dr. Catherine A. Mango.
Woo!
Congratulations, guys. Email winners at waterboxaquariums.com,
Yep.
and they will get you hooked up And again, we definitely appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't already, make sure you hammer fist the like button.
Break your
subscribe
electronics.
to the channel. Hit the notification bell because we do this nearly every week. It's very rare that we don't.
Yeah.
It's usually because we're out of town or something. We do come here live with you guys every week to help you guys be better aquarists. We really appreciate you all tuning in. It means a
Yeah,
lot.
we love the live viewership and being able to answer questions, and like that's what makes
Yeah.
us come here live pretty much every week. So make sure to tune in. Like I said, like and subscribe because that's gonna let you know when we got stuff. And we have a lot of recorded videos with great information that's dropping regularly.
Yeah, a lot of new ones recently too.
Definitely keep an eye on the channel because we do. I know we were kind of quiet for a while on recorded content, but we're definitely full swing again. So you want to keep an eye on the YouTube channel to see all the stuff that we're dropping.
Yep, we appreciate y'all being here, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Thank you all for watching. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. And to learn more about Waterbox, visit waterboxaquariums.com.
We're live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
You